All right. Good morning, everyone. Dan here coming to you from tradingology.com with potentially the final trading room for this year. We will see December 22nd. And as usual, just opening up the doors here, and we have our great friend Dave coming to us with the Strong Market team over there who provides lots of the indicators that we do use. So good morning, Dave, and welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you guys.
Hey,
You're all decked out there with all the balls of holly.
I got everybody wrapped up for you, ready to rock.
Good. Nice. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, I was just getting a couple things set up. I still haven't fixed my my paper account here in Thinkorswim yet because TD Ameritrade changed the rules. If you guys hadn't known this yet, in order to enable real-time data in your paper account, you need to have at least $500 now, where before they didn't require anything. So I was able to be sneaky and just keep a couple dollars just to keep the account open, and I didn't actually trade on TDA. But they're like, no, we want some money now. So I actually have some deposited, but I still need to go back and link my accounts all and get all my graphs set up. So instead of recreating all the charts for today quick, I just pulled up the delayed graph. So we're looking at 50-minute delayed. If we need to, I can pull up TradingView and look at stuff real time, but I think this will definitely cover what we need to.
Yeah, I think they're losing money on all the free data that they're giving out on the paper trade. So
Why can't they just make data free for everyone? Wasn't there something someone was working on actually?
I don't know.
I thought didn't someone introduce a bill at one time that wanted to make it free for all?
Yeah, but then they were going to put, in order to pay for it, they were going to put a tax on the transactions.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they're going to add an extra nickel onto the transactions or something.
Gotcha. Yeah, you pay for it one way.
To get their money. Yeah. So a few pennies go to the government, a few pennies go to the data service provider.
Well, there you go. So you're going to get it one way or another. So I do have my free stuff through TradingView, which is where most I do my trading, and I link my TradeAvate account, which is a beautiful thing. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out.
And, it is nice. I love TradingView. I was trading foreign exchange through the Oanda app on TradingView. Really nice stuff. I like it.
All right. So we definitely have the week of Christmas starting, and what do we got? Let me see. Take a quick look at the internals here. Started out positive, but didn't stay there very long, but now it's trying to come back up. So we'll see where this day ends up.
Well, we've been chatting back and forth over the last couple of weeks about how flatline the up and down volume has been, and the ADD is just kind of like, sometimes up, sometimes down, but the up down volume has been really flatline.
Yeah, there's yesterday when we had lots of movement. It was way down in the morning, then it recovered, then then it was down again, then it spiked up right before the close. But yeah, not a lot of trending as we see as I roll back. There's maybe the last day that was kind of a trend.
Yeah, that was the last day right there. When was that?
Back on the 15th.
Yeah, so for the last week, it's really flatline. It's not really doing much at all. Is buying just wearing out here? Is there just like, I made a comment in the Tradingology chat room that there is, billions of dollars that have gone into the market. We're at $36 trillion in market cap for the U.S. stock markets. It's going to take billions more to move it to all-time highs. Where are those billions coming from? Yeah. The new stimulus bill cut off the lending powers of the Fed, so they're done with that.
Yeah, and they're just about getting ready to sign. Last I saw, it's through the House and Senate, but the president hasn't signed it yet. Was that the last notice I saw?
Is it? Let me I'll check on.
I know they're working on it, but I think it might have passed the Senate overnight. So we'll see. I do see a breaking news on home sales declining for the first time in 5 months in November. So that's just a sign of the potential rough waters coming in the housing market, which we also did talk about, where we have so many people that are not able to pay their bills right now that are in forbearance that we've talked about, and what happens when all that comes due and potentially major supply of houses as landlords either try to liquidate because they can't make their mortgage payments because the renters aren't making their payments and they have to sell their properties, and
Despite some objections.
lots of unknowns happening soon in the housing market for sure.
Yeah, the Senate followed the House late Monday in passing an overwhelming margin of the on the bill. The White House said President Trump will sign it. 5,593 pages. How much pork can they actually stuff into 5,593 pages?
Well, I don't know where it came from, but I'm assuming you probably saw some of the memes that were, I don't know if it's necessarily a meme, but it might have actually been a screenshot of something where what's actually included in there is ridiculous, and what other foreign countries are getting aid. It's like, I thought this was a stimulus bill for the American people, not like the Palestinians and the Chinese and who knows what was in there. It's like, wait a minute. Let's see if I can find that actually.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Did you see that one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
What was the foreign stuff? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it. While I'm cooking around there, I'll get oh yeah, 92-6 was the vote, huh? Interesting.
Probably the only ones that didn't vote for it were the ones who didn't want the $600 or the $300. I guess it's $300 now, or it's $600.
I did.
300 in unemployment, 600 in stimulus payments.
Yeah, exactly. Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, Utah, Kentucky, and Florida are the 6. Blackburn, Cruz, Johnson, Lee, Paul, and Scott. I probably won't be able to find the other one.
Well, if you got $100,000 or more of income, you would be excluded.
This is true.
So it's not, so it's going to most Americans, but not all.
Right. But yeah, I was mentioning I saw the housing, so they must be on a lower, let me redo my graph here. Apply that filter and I'll bring this guy over. Not a lot going on for major movers, but they're talking final GDPs quarter over quarter is up. Consumer confidence, red numbers, I assume that's down. There's the existing home sales, 6.9, forecasted 6.7. So it's the first time that this number's been lower. So it's on the smaller end of the effect spectrum, but it's still making headlines right now or breaking news. So that's interesting. Then throughout the rest of the week, we have markets are closed at the end of the week, obviously, with the holidays, but tomorrow, a bunch of non-event or lower event ones come out. Hey, Tom, good to see you.
Hey, Tom.
So there's on the recent stuff there that we see coming across, just so you guys are aware. And I thought it'd be interesting to pull over quick. Just the big picture again. Oh, looks like we're actually moving because this was down. Looking at that move yesterday, I found this interesting where we had full bearish herding and the bulls didn't take over, but yet we had price slowly creeping up. I think this is part of the Christmas nuance of less volume, and they're able to manipulate it easier with less orders, but that might just me reading between the lines, but it felt like, hey, how do we go that much higher if there's mostly bears in here?
Well, we also had all the internals were negative. They never went positive.
Right.
Yeah, it was higher on the day.
So I was expecting this rally to drop. I was really surprised at that last 5 minutes personally. Yeah. Then the futures opened up lower too. So it's like, yep, they were either just closing out some orders or the lower volume. So definite changes going on. Yeah, Tom, it was last minute one, so we knew you were missing us. He's saying he just saw there was a meeting. We got to get a couple in right before Christmas, Tom, for you.
Yeah, just get one in here. I was short IBM yesterday at the close. I just closed it out, but it was a nice little trade. IBM was down. The only other thing I'm in, I ended up getting. There's a stock that I kind of like. Not investment advice for you guys. Just telling you what I'm doing. It's SNDL. I don't know if you can bring up a chart of that. Sundial Growers. It's in the cannabis industry. Interesting chart, only because it's like 50 cents right now. It used to be, what was the high, $13 or something like that. It's gotten really beat up. Talk about beat up stock, right? 13 something.
Yep.
And I'm gonna send you this URL, and if you can bring that up, because this is really kind of an interesting story. Let's see, I think I got it. No, that's not it. Hold on. This is an interesting story.
Went down to 13 cents.
Yeah, I got down there all right. Here we go. Patience, guys, patience. There we go.
Let me let these guys know too.
I just sent that to you.
Okay.
Interesting story. They're at 50 cents now. I picked up a couple hundred shares yesterday. I added up another 1,800 shares this morning. Just FYI disclosure. But this is a cannabis grower, and they were at $13. Cannabis grower, beating up stock. Remember the wealth strategy, beating up. We love beating up stocks. They are now debt free.
Nice.
They paid off 21.9 million of a credit facility that they've had for a while, and they raised cash. They did they did a bunch of stuff. They have eliminated $227 million in debt this year. They are now complete. They are debt free, and they have $62 million in cash. Well, outstanding common shares. I'm sorry. They have 62 million in a cash balance. Oh no, it's a cash balance of 62 million, and outstanding shares of only 840 million. This is a story. They are debt free. I mean, if you want to try to survive in the next couple of years, and you're a debt free company, and you can take advantage of things that other companies cannot do. They are not able to do. And so I kind of like the story here, that they are a beaten up stock, they are debt free, and they have $62 million in cash. So I'm buying it.
SNDL, again, not advice, just letting you know what Dave's doing.
Right.
Keeping an eye out there.
I think it could get to $3-4. I mean, at 50 cents, that's a nice 6x return. We'll see what happens, but I do like the story.
And that's the other part that's definitely nice, is it's an inexpensive way to.
Yes. Again, this is an asymmetric trade.
Exactly.
Your downside is pretty limited. I mean, if they're debt free and they got 62 million in cash, they only have $850 million in debt. The worst could get is to 25 cents. So you lose, and who knows how long it's going to take. But I think with the new administration, who is favorable towards cannabis, and we've seen a number of states start to legalize. It's a Canadian company. They're out of Calgary, but they could easily, if the legislation, especially federal legislation, starts to pass to reduce the restrictions on cannabis use in the United States, this thing could take off. We'll see. It's just speculation on my part. We don't know anything, obviously, but I mean, they're well positioned, I think.
Yeah, just as a company as a whole, no matter what they do, if you can say you're a debt-free business, that's a rarity.
Yeah.
Nice. Appreciate that. I will keep that one on the back burner for sure.
So I don't have a large investment in it right now, but I did pick a couple thousand shares up at average about 50 cents.
That's good. All right.
So the market seems like it's just kind of floundering around here. We're down 156 on the Dow. The Nasdaq, of course, is up a little bit, and the S&P futures are down 8. But every time it tries to jump up again, it gets knocked down. So I'm not sure what that means for the market. Internals are flat. But you know what? It was the same way in March. And I'm not saying this is the same thing as March, but just before we had that big sell-off, they were flat. I mean, we had no indication, really, a strong indication on the on the market timer spreadsheet that there was going to be a big sell-off. But as of yesterday at the close, we had bearish herding in the first column, and it looks like it could be a long tail setup. So if it continues today, if we continue to go lower, we might have a long tail setup. It's actually a perfect long tail setup because look, we've got 4 days in a row in which it's been in that last column. We had a couple in the first column on the bullish side, but the last column, there's 4 in a row, and then we had bearish herding yesterday in the first column. It's kind of a handoff, bulls to the bears.
Tom's asking if he thinks the flatness could be due to the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. I think but look at the ADS yesterday. I mean, we anticipated the 18th to be a high volume day because it was option expiration. It was a triple witching expiration, right? But yesterday didn't have to be a high trade volume day at all, but it was still over 1,500.
Yeah, 1,500 a share. And we look at the actual shares, they were still, broke the 5 million.
Yeah. Billion. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because I'm actually dropping off the last 3 exactly. Yeah, so it's actually still really high.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we got the bearish herding. So, we are not crystal ball gazers. We're just looking at the data here, and it looks like if there is going to be a handoff to the bears here on that long tail setup, then we should be down today.
And I did notice it was the first day in a while that we've had empty vol went back into the 80s. So it's starting, it was down, it went all the way down to the 60s.
Yeah, 64 there.
So that's really low. Then it started back in the 70s, and then we had a jump to the 82 yesterday. So that could be a sign with also our pipeline filling out. And a couple of, we did have a couple of first columns. Then we do see those as the bull traps, and they do happen where we see the next days were down. Next days were down after there was a little up movement. So it could be the setup, as you say. We're looking at the data, and the data says beware.
Right. In other news, overnight, the SEC looks like it's going to sue Ripple, the company.
Of course they did.
The narrative around Ripple and XRP is that they've gotten more and more decentralized, and that whole there was a lawsuit in California of a trader who is suing because they said it's an unregistered security, and then the SEC comes out, they haven't come out yet, so we haven't seen it, but Brad Garlinghouse tweeted that the SEC is going to sue Ripple for selling an unregistered security, XRP. Now that's a bad sign, especially with all the regulators that are on their board and stuff like that. It's not a good sign. So in the way I look at it though is a number of things. Number one is that if the SEC does go ahead and sue, since there is already a lawsuit in California from one investor against Ripple, does this bring out of the woods thousands of XRP holders and previous holders of XRP to sue Ripple as well, based on this new filing, against Ripple? So I think it's just going to open up a can of worms here. And so, as Dan mentioned and put into his into the chat room that he sold, I sold as well. And I don't know what's going to happen to the token. One of the things that a lawyer, Jake Chervinsky, who's on Twitter, he's a lawyer, he's a securities lawyer, mentioned was that because of this action that the SEC files, it could be delisted from American exchanges. Other jurisdictions could be pressured to also delist XRP. So just a heads up on that, guys.
Yeah, and part of the reason I personally sold not only XRP, but I sold all of my holdings. I forget exactly what day it was. Within the last 2 weeks, I have cashed in on my profits since we bought in. As you guys know, we were buying in and accumulating for a long time. After we had this run up, it's like, hey, we got a nice profit on the table. It wasn't a bad idea. So what I did initially is I just personally took off some profits just to cover my initial investment. and let the rest ride. And then I saw some patterns forming that we talked about. There was a nice pennant, and then it broke the pennant right here. So it was looking like it was going further down. And I was like, all right, I sold some. I think it was right around 60 cents. I sold some personally. People probably laugh at me. That's fine. Everyone make your own decisions. And but then again, it did pop up. But now what I was actually looking at and what we started doing, or I shouldn't say what I started doing, was with the activity that we have, and you compare that to the past where it just, remember it would just meander at 20 cents, 30 cents. There's nothing you could do
A
but
long
accumulate.
time, yeah.
There was no trading opportunities here. Now with the recent activity, there's actually trading opportunities where I had buy orders in the 40-cent range, which actually triggered. Back here, I bought at 48, 47, 46.
Yep.
And I think that's the lowest it went. 43 maybe. It looks like it got to 43. So I actually had orders that were filling on the way down here. Because I said, yeah, if you get back into the 40s, I'll buy again. And it jumped up and I sold it again at 60.
Right. Yep.
Because now we have opportunity. I can buy and sell just like we do with other swing trading. So that was part of the reason I was like, yep, this isn't looking good. The views on the US dollar and where that might push crypto over the next course of time. But yeah, that was the biggest thing. I'm like, yep, I'm taking the money off the table. I let people know just so, hey, friends and family that I talked to for the last year and a half that probably thought I was crazy. They're like, all right, you're actually making money on this. Good job. So they can cash out. But just full disclosure, yep, I actually don't own any crypto at this point. So it's kind of that. I will also notice that it gives you a different perspective that I personally looking
Yeah,
at.
I'm out of crypto as well. Full disclosure, I don't have anything at all. I've been trading Bitcoin. That's it.
I looked at the chart differently. I noticed after I had sold, it's like, yeah, I could see this going down again. Absolutely. And if it does go down here, I might be a buyer again. Now that with the recent stuff and the potential legal things, it's like, okay, we'll wait and see what happens. Let the dust settle.
And if you take a look at the weekly chart there, we did mention a couple of weeks ago that you had that very similar pattern to what happened back in September of 2000 and
oh yeah, let me pull up.
2018.
So we should be okay here.
Yeah, Bitstamp is good. So yeah, right there at 2018, same thing. That little pump up, big wick, little tiny body on the next day, on the next week's candle, and then a downturn.
Yeah, that looks like it's definitely still playing out. Look at that.
Identical.
Big, little doji, big down. There's two downs.
Yeah.
These two downs are separated by a little up in the middle, so that's the only slight difference. So yeah, we might get another little pump up here, which we actually saw. Maybe that's replacing that.
Maybe that was it, yeah.
We could still be a replace or a reenactment of this series for sure.
Yeah, it could. It could, definitely. We've had the DXY moving up, bounced off at 80, 88 level. And as we know, it's kind of bearish on crypto, but we're still kind of hanging around there. That consolidation area way over to the left there, yep, right there. That's where I was thinking that the DXY was going to bounce off of, and it has a little bit. It jumped up to 91 yesterday, I believe, because of the sell-off in stocks. And then we had Bitcoin hitting like 24 something. It was up around 24,300, and then it just took a nosedive. So, I don't know if this is the bottom in the DXY. I don't know if this is the bottom in the dollar index or not. Could be, could have another low coming in on it, but we'll see. It certainly does look a lot stronger than all the other cryptos at this point.
That's the interesting part too, that they've always talked about for years, was the volatility, right? Is even when we're looking at the weekly chart here. So in 1 week, we went from 19 up to where the close, 23% change in 1 week. Yes. How is that volatility going to play in the financial markets that they're trying to use as some type of base for anything? That's still a lot of volatility.
That's a lot of volatility. Store of value wise, you don't want to see that kind of volatility.
Yeah, you can't make decisions off of that if it changes that much.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, because tomorrow could be down 23%. Yeah, that's the problem. And you have nothing to hedge it against. I mean, I guess you could go to the futures market, CME, Bitcoin futures, and hedge it.
Sure.
that's the one nice thing that you can do, but they're not on the same exchange. So you're really hedging it in one market and you're buying it in another market. So you really have to kind of manage that. But, you know, Elon Musk said he's going to take the Tesla funds and
I saw that conversation actually. How he throws out an idea and someone's like, well, you can do this and actually turned into a thing. I'm like, I wouldn't put it past him to do something like that. It's like one of those, be careful what you ask for because you might get it.
I mean, yeah, no comment.
I had to pull up one of our fun websites. I didn't grab all the pictures yet, but I can pull up an interesting one. You know how we like Fred.
Oh, we love Fred, yeah.
Since we're getting to another quarter, I had to pull up and look at the M2. And now we got yet another round of $900 billion coming in. So looking at let's look at M1 for a second. Just because I'm curious. Look at this.
Jeez, right through the roof. I think it's through the roof, through the chimney, into the sky someplace there, right?
M2 money supply.
Let's look at the velocity of money. I saw that. I mean, they probably don't even want to update that chart.
I can type. There we go.
Eek.
Bam. We'll zoom it in on just now.
Straight down. A little bounce, but not much. Not much.
Yeah, well, it's when you're bouncing off of 1.1, there's not much lower to go.
Yeah.
You compare that to the last decade, or okay, back to 1960. There's nice normal. Look, it didn't get normal in the 90s. Things went abnormal. And then we had .com bust, GFC, latest debacle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a medical pandemic or an economic pandemic.
That's a whole conversation I won't even get into right now.
Yeah.
Because I might go sideways.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff here. I mean, everybody's trying to argue whether or not there's going to be inflation or deflation. I really, you know, it's like I see inflation in certain areas, but then I see deflation in other areas. And I think the deflationary forces are stronger because technology prices have come down so much. I mean, look what you can do. I mean, you can buy. I remember when my son was a senior in high school, which was about 15 years ago. And one of his friends had a huge, like, I think it was a 16-inch screen TV, right?
Yep.
15 years ago, they paid 10 grand for it.
Right.
I mean, how much is a 60-inch plasma TV or a TV now? And it's improved in quality, and it's like what? You can get one for like $500 maybe, $600.
Oh, I saw an ad. You can get a 55-inch for $150.
From 10 grand to $150. That's deflationary. I mean, you can get how many? I haven't bought I've got a 4 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive that I back up my stuff on. And I think I paid $700 for it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now they're like
now you can get them for $100. Yep.
Yeah. So I see a lot of deflation in the technology, which is almost all. I mean, the economy is pretty much technology driven at this point. So a lot of deflation in that area. And as consumers continue to kind of pull back on spending, we're probably going to see further deflation. Now, I've seen inflation though in like other areas, like food prices.
Yep, foods definitely went up for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't buy very much except meat, but yeah. But when I look around and I see prices, I mean, I see people in front of me at the checkout counter with a just a basket full, a cart full of food, and when they ring out, they're like $300, $400.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, if you got kids and you got like 2 or 3 kids and you're trying to feed them all, this thing, I mean, it's expensive. I go in, I buy a couple steaks and a hamburger, and I'm pretty much done, and I'm out, under $80. But
Oh, we got to get you on the butcher plan, Dave. We buy meat once a year. We get a half a cow at a time.
yeah, I can do that around here too. But the only thing I like are New York strips and ribeyes. So
You don't want the rest of it that comes with it.
I don't want the rest of it. No.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't know what to do with it. I guess I could get a brisket. I could get a roast, maybe.
Yeah, the roasts are good.
Yeah, the roast. All right, what's the market doing here? What are we going to do? Are we going to rally into the end of the year and then drop off in January? I heard, what's his first name? I can't think of his first name. Hirsch, the guy who runs the Stocks Traders Almanac. Robert Hirsch, I think. His father, Yale Hirsch, was the one who started the Stock Traders Almanac. And he says that if we get a rally between Christmas and New Year's, and then the first 5 days of January, that is a signal that we're going higher in 2021 in stocks. If we don't get the Santa rally, and we don't, in the first 5 days of January are down, that is a very, very bad sign. Now, he included the full month of January. He said the first 5 days are important, and then the ending of January on January 30th, that's important as well. If we're down in those 3 periods, then it's going to be a down year.
That sounds like Dr. Ziemba talk.
Ah, yes.
Where
Yes,
you looked
yes,
at
that's
certain
right.
seasonality things and keen, and that as soon as you said it, I'm like, I know that thought process.
That's right. Ziemba, Dr. Ziemba said that about the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. That was his big calendar spread.
Yep. And it's Jeff Hirsch is who you're thinking of.
Oh, Jeff Hirsch. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't think of his first name.
The internet's always there to help you.
What would we do without it?
Right.
I can't imagine what I did. I mean, I guess the only thing I used for trading back in the 80s was the Wall Street Journal. I'd get up early and go out and get the Wall Street Journal as soon as I possibly could, because that was the only news information we had back then. And I was trading bull call spreads in March of 1987. That's the first time I traded options. And man, I was making money like crazy. I was doing really well until up about July, August. And then I said, you know what? I think this market's going to drop in 1987. This was. And I bought a bunch of puts, about $16,000 worth of puts. And they expired in September. And then October, the market crashed 50%. So I'm not going to do that this time. I've got A trades going out to February, March, and if those don't work out, I'm going to go out to June, July. I'm going to keep buying A trades until this thing does crash. Tom says I watched War Games with my teenage son last night. Oh yeah, that was a good movie. I remember when that came out. It was so much fun to see him do research at a library instead of the internet. Yeah. That's true. I used to go to the library almost every single night. It was great. I loved the library back in the day. I loved it. Actually, the very first business opportunity that I found when I was looking for a business opportunity when I first got married, and I wanted to make extra money. And I was working for, who was I working for at the time? I was working for a nonprofit agency, trying to find people jobs who were displaced because of manufacturers moving to China. And I think it was called a 501 program or something, but they were all out of jobs because all the manufacturers left. And so I was doing some job counseling and stuff like that. And I went to the library and I found a book called Collected Books, Prices and Values. And I looked in there and I said, I can't believe the price of some used books. A couple of them were over $1,000. And I looked through that and I could not take the book out of the library because it was in the resource section. So I photocopied as many pages as I could of books. And then I ended up buying a copy of it myself. And I started a used and rare book business, which I ended up making like, I mean, back in the 80s, it was like $300-400 a week on eBay, just selling used books.
Nice. Yeah. I
But
knew
I
a few
love the
people that
library.
did that with like college books too. Same kind of thing where you find
Yes.
someone that had it and they didn't need it the next year, sell it then.
Yep, absolutely. I've got a friend down in North Carolina and Charlotte that does that. He does it almost full time. But now textbooks are being replaced by digital versions.
Right. I had to,
So what's that?
I had to just, you were talking old and I saw 1983, so I had to dial back the Dow just to look at
Yeah,
the,
look at the run up before 1987 there. I mean, geez, that whole summer, all it did was run up. I was putting on bull call spreads through March of 1987 all the way through July, August. And I was making anywhere from $500 to $1,400-1,500 a week on bull call spreads because it just kept going up. It was a great time to be. I thought I was a genius. I said, "Oh my God, options are awesome."
right.
And that little dip over the summer, is that July, the last dip right there, right there. No, it's May. Yeah, I started it, so March, April, May. And then right to, I think in July, there was a little bit of a dip. Not a big one though. Yeah, right there,
June.
June, end of June. Must
Yeah,
have been the end of
there's a little one in July.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one in July. That's the one I doubled my money. I went from 16,000 to 32,000. The problem in those days, though, I had puts on at that time too, and I ended up doubling my money on paper. But what happened was, you see that dip there, and then it kind of rebounded. Yeah. At that point, my broker actually called me on the phone, and he said, "It's. I think you should get out." And I said, "No, wait a couple seconds." Well, those couple of seconds ended up costing me about $15,000, and so I still had 20, but that cost me a lot of money, that waiting. And he said he never calls his customers ever. And that was at the time, you know, you had it. I mean, I was watching, it wasn't CNBC at the time. It was like, I think it was called the Financial News Network at the time. And then it became CNBC. And you had to call your broker on the phone because you didn't have computers or anything at that time.
Yep.
Kidder Peabody was the broker at that time. Fascinating
It
time.
looks similar. You know, we had a couple little hiccups. This could have
Yeah.
been March.
Yeah.
Then we got the big run up after and kabam.
Then we got a little volatility and a rebound, and then right off the face of the earth. I was not in the market at that time because I had basically lost lost everything on those puts that I had that unfortunately, you know, expired in September.
Boom, 40%.
Yeah, that was a big move. Yeah, 22.5% on that one Monday.
Yeah, those are weekly bars here.
Yeah.
But I digress. Just because they look familiar.
But yeah, War Games was a terrific movie. That was a great movie. I remember. That was Matthew Broderick wasn't he the star of that? Yeah. A lot of computer stuff back then. I mean, today, by today's standards, it was pretty antiquated. I think they had a huge room with a supercomputer with just like these little diodes just like blinking.
The Whopper. Yeah, so we look at that. It could have been blip, blip, crash. Now we're back up. So maybe we're past that other one, and who knows where we're going now.
Well, you know, if we think it's similar to, I mean, the market never exactly does the same thing. We have no idea what it's really going to do.
Right.
But if you have, when you think about the fact that people are really desperate right now, there's 2,000 people a day becoming homeless in the United States right now. 7.6 million since June have fallen below the poverty line. People are, I mean, I've seen video of people who have driven up and down the streets in LA, it's a tent city in the downtown area. Tents are lining the streets, lining the sidewalks, taking over empty parking lots. It's pretty crazy.
I was
Tom,
just
you got any
looking.
questions there?
What was that? Tom got a question?
No, I'm just asking because Tom's the only one in the room.
Oh, Stephen popped in for a minute, then he left.
Oh, maybe he had connection problems.
Maybe. I just saw, since we're talking about between evictions and whatnot, they did extend the moratorium through February 28th.
Oh, okay.
So that's now the new next deal. He's cleaning the office while he listens.
Good duty. Good duty. I like cleaning my office once in a while. It takes my mind off of the markets.
Tom, I'm assuming you get to stay stateside for a while since all this stuff happened, or are you overseas now listening to us? Streaming on Netflix War Games. Still in Colo, good job.
Yeah, the UK has closed all its borders. No flights in or out. Nothing from the UK to any other European country.
Yeah, I think I saw someone say it was illegal for them to leave too. Like anyone trying
illegal?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Boris Johnson gets on television, right, and says, "Okay, everybody, just stay in your home. No Christmas this year. Total Grinch." And we've got this new virus strain that spreads 70% faster than the other one. So everybody stay home. Well, as soon as he finished broadcasting, everybody flocked to the train station. Everybody wanted to get out of London. So now they're all congregating at the train station, which is exactly what you're not supposed to do.
Right.
Crazy.
Tom says he hasn't found the Whopper yet either, and it looks nothing like that inside Cheyenne Mountain. I always, it's one of those that'd be fun to see. I keep going every trip I've made out to South Dakota. I've been meaning to hit that missile silo, and the last time we tried it was closed. It's like, why are you closed on Monday? It's like they weren't open. It's like they open on Tuesdays. So I keep meaning to get out there because that's interesting to me. I'd like to see that, Tom. So you can send me some pictures of your top secret stuff. I won't share it with anybody.
It would be interesting.
Just kidding. All right, what do we got going on? What are they doing now? Looks like they're trying to get happy again. The last few minutes, we'll see.
There's
Only
somebody.
the Dow's down right now.
What's that?
NDX is up, SPY's up, Russell's up. Russell's up 1%. That's just, they just don't want to. We were looking at the other chart. I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I have it over here. I don't because I switched it, but I can make this one look like it. Here's the daily chart of the Russell. This is just these swings.
Can you put a fib on there and see where the 1.618 comes in from that? Yeah, from
these guys.
Yeah. See what that looks like. No, that's the one below it. Oh yeah, right there. And then go up to
So which one are we? There we go.
No, you got to go the other way. Start at the top.
Top to bottom, right on.
1.618 brings us up to
2146.
Yeah. So we got a little ways to go, maybe to hit that.
I'm curious to see what it does when it hits the 2000 level. That's that big number, right?
Big round number, yeah.
Yep. And just, we weren't talking that long ago in March. We're like, holy cow, the Russell's under 1,000. Remember when it went below 1,000, we couldn't believe it. And now it's almost 2,000.
Yeah. If that's not irrational exuberance, I don't know what irrational exuberance is.
Well, and the part that makes zero sense to this is, I'm sorry if I bring in logic, but the worst things that are hit right now is small businesses that are closed, that are limited, can barely open their doors. But yet this is at all-time highs and just ridiculous levels. It's like, are you kidding me? The small businesses aren't making this. They're all closing. There's people ignoring mandates and ignoring laws to open the doors so they have a fighting chance because they have zero chance with their doors closed.
Right.
And you try and tell me that the Russell 2000 is at all-time highs because this represents small business?
Well, there's no such thing as profitable businesses anymore. See, that's not what they're trading. What they're trading is just a price. So it's the greater fool theory. Whoever can pay a higher price, then you know, as long as you get somebody to pay a higher price than you bought it at, then you're good to go. So it's pure speculation. I think, when's the last real pure speculation market? Maybe the tech bubble in 2000. I mean, that was just a greater fool theory, right? It just went,
Sure.
you know, whoever's going to pay a higher price, multiples didn't matter, profits didn't matter, and I don't think they mattered again. I think you got a lot of people who are just staying home trading on Robinhood here, and they're thinking that they're genius traders by, you know, just buying the dips, which they did yesterday.
Yep. And I think I sent it to you. It was good to see they actually got a little bit of trouble for what they're doing. But, you know, I've seen the headlines again yesterday. Well, that's just of the past. And it's like, yeah, slap them on the hand with a $2 million fine. That does nothing for them.
Who's that? I missed that. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I could probably find it.
The SEC's after him. The Massachusetts Attorney General is suing him for gamifying trading. So, yeah, and they're supposed to be going public. Right?
Yeah, like Dash, because they're that's
Yep, Dash. I don't think it's recovered yet from its IPO kind of double pump there.
65 million for SEC filing for misleading users.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, they made how much money? And they hit them with a $65 million fine. And they think that that's enough.
Yeah. All they have to do is like sell a few stocks. They can sell a few of their stock, and then just they're good to go, and then they can do their IPO.
It was good to hear that unnamed resource that got in trouble with that trade got out from under it, right? They reversed it, and they didn't have to pay the crazy amounts because they did a bad deal on them.
Yeah.
So thankfully,
it was a $40,000 bill. It would, you know, that's bad. I mean, that's, you know, you had a limited, the spread was a limited spread, limited
exposure. Yeah.
Limited exposure, and they just botched it by selling the long option and not the short.
It just drives me nuts.
I told my kids about that too. They're like, they couldn't believe it. And there is risk. There's risks sometimes that you don't even comprehend or you don't think of naturally when you're trading. Liquidity risks. If you're in a stock that doesn't have much liquidity, you know, it's tough to get out of. You know, I was trading GDLC, which is the not GBTC, it's GDLC, which is the large cap Greystone fund.
Yep.
Liquidity was horrible. I mean, I had to take a haircut. Every time I tried to get out of it, I had to take like a 50-cent haircut. Nobody was bidding close to the last price. It was very thinly traded, very tough. So that's one risk, right? The other risk is all your computer systems go down. I was listening to Benziga this morning. They have a pre-market show. And 5 minutes before trading ended yesterday, one of the traders said, I got locked out of the platform. I couldn't get in. And, you know, he had positions on. So it's like, yeah, there's another risk, right?
Yep.
There's all kinds of risks in the market that you don't really take advantage. You don't really, you know, kind of think about, or they're not common sense, or they're not evident, you know, when you first start trading, but there are many, many risks. And that's kind of like why we like the shorter term stuff, the swing trade, the, you know, 5-10 minute trades in and out.
Yeah, between that and not knowing where this manipulated market goes next is the other part. You know, we're just playing in their game of rules. Nothing works like it used to. So yeah, you got to take your profits when you can, and you can't trust the trade to stay on. I mean, I had one overnight last night, and it was bad enough. I was still staring at my phone every 5 minutes. Be like, all right, that's enough. I'll take it.
Right.
I was actually short the YM for a while going after the.
Oh, were you?
Yep.
Yeah, it bounced around a little bit. Not too bad, but it was up 90 points at one time, wasn't it? Yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, after the close yesterday,
Yeah.
I'll pull this guy over. We'll go to the 5 minute. Yeah, I was looking at the spreadsheet and I said, yeah, we're going lower because I didn't like that close, especially after yesterday's activity.
Right.
So yesterday we had this and then the big run up right after the close, which was around 3 in the morning. Here's yesterday. Here's the close. It was coming down, then it ran back up. So that's during the day. There's the close.
Yeah.
So right there's the candle. So after that, I got short on. I'm like, yeah, we're going back down tomorrow. So then I closed it at like just when it dipped under 30,000. I'm like, 30 is that big number. I thought it might bounce off of 30 because it was doing that again here a couple times. I'm like, yep, that big round number's in play. So it went below and I said, I'll take it. So I got in up here. It was one of those, yeah, I don't want to hold that overnight. And I'm glad I didn't because then it went up to 150, but now we're back down. Look at it, it's floating right at 30,000 again.
Yep, seems to be holding on that level. I wonder if we psychologically, if we do close below that level, how it's going to affect traders. So we'll see.
And the Dow is just above it itself. So we shall see. All right, we're getting close to the top of the hour. Time flies when you're having fun. Tom's avoiding federal prison. Yeah, don't take pictures, man. I just joke. But just for snapping the picture, not even sending it, right?
Yeah.
I know those deals. I've signed many security waivers. NASDAQ's right around 0%. Yeah, just the Russell's the only one that's up right now. On the day, at least.
The DXY is up 0.5% now. I mean, it looked like it was going to completely reverse and go lower. Now it's up 0.5%. So I wonder what that's all about. Looks like it's moving higher. It held at 90 after it broke down below 90. Now it's holding 90 and it's moving higher. Pretty sharply there. So it looks like some buying came in again because when it hit 91, I said, "Wow, that's a nice move back there."
Yep.
It retraced about 70%, about 75%, which is typically a pretty good retracement, and it held. So, is it turning the corner? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Did it find the bottom here at 89?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
If we break that 91, then I think that's a pretty good sign that we're probably going to go higher. It's not resistance anymore.
Yep, definitely. Once we get into the higher end 92s.
And if that's the case, if we do go into a pretty powerful move higher, cryptocurrencies are going to get it. I think
They'll suffer. Yep.
They'll suffer. The market probably won't do very well either. But we are not what is it? Prognosticators?
Prognosticator?
Prognosticators?
Fortune tellers.
Fortune tellers. We're only looking at probabilities. We look at the spreadsheet, we look at the numbers, we say, okay, what's the probability of the market going higher? Well, we're at $36 trillion in market cap, like we mentioned earlier. How much, if we add $1 trillion to the market cap, the market will go up another 1,000 points, approximately. However, where's that $1 trillion going to come from? Everybody's starving to death. There's supply chains are terrible. I mean, people are not going back to work. There's a new strain of the virus that is 70% more, can spread faster. So I don't know where all this is going to come from, but we'll see. That's why we have some A trades on, just in case that we do get a market pullback here, that we can keep ahead of the purchasing power. And that's the reason why we trade. We want to keep ahead of purchasing power. That's all we want.
And just for my due diligence, I threw it in the chat and I'll have it, I'll put it in the notes somewhere when I post it. Tom, Steve, if you haven't seen this yet, check that site out to protect yourselves and your loved ones, because they're not telling people about it. And I won't get on my soapbox right now, but These group of doctors have done wonderful work, and I think everybody needs to know about it. But it's not an expensive drug, so they don't want to tell the whole world to use it. But it's amazingly effective. So check that out. Proven data behind it. Do your own research. But I had to share it with you guys just so I can sleep better at night, knowing I've informed people that I am in contact with. Appreciate it, Tom. And I know, Dave, you know about it because I think I've given it to you already too. So,
Yep.
No emoji translation. Were you sticking your tongue out? That's not the sticking your tongue out one. I don't know what Y turns into. Tom's trying to give me emojis.
Well, have fun cleaning your office, Tom. And Stephen, I'm glad you could join us.
Absolutely. And for you guys that celebrate Christmas, you have a Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah for those that had it. Happy Kwanzaa. How about a nice game of chess? There you go.
Hey, I would love to play chess. I am a chess player.
If you like chess, check out, what was there's a Netflix series.
Queen Gambit.
That's it, the Queen's Gambit. We just watched it a couple weeks ago. It's fantastic.
It's really good, isn't it?
Yes.
Very, very good. Yeah, good stuff. I love chess. In fact, I won a championship in chess when I was in 8th grade.
Nice.
They had a regional event, and I came in 3rd place.
Nice.
Not first, but 3rd place. And it was like, it was a couple hundred kids there from the 7th, 8th, and 9th grades.
Yeah, so we did too, Tom. He says he actually binge watched it. We watched all of it, very short time. It was awesome.
Yeah, I love chess, and I haven't seen it yet though, so don't spoil. No spoilers.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
I have not watched.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going over my charts, and then by 7, 8 o'clock at night, I am beat.
Well, so you can take off a couple weeks because it's the holidays and we shouldn't trade.
Yes.
And then you can watch that instead.
Yes, I will. I will binge watch it just like Tom.
All right, gentlemen. With that, we'll probably call it a wrap.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe and be happy and cheery, and hopefully 2021 will be a much better year health-wise and everything else-wise. But you guys enjoy the holidays. I'm sure I will. I'm not making a brisket this year, as I mentioned. I ruined the last couple of ones, so I'm buying it from Franklin's in Texas.
We'll get you. Maybe someone will bring you a Traeger for Christmas.
Oh, that P.O. Box. Just send it.
There you go. We'll start a fund.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Well,
guys, we appreciate it. And yes, best wishes for everybody. And we will see. If we don't do one, we'll see you next year. Who knows? Maybe we'll pop in next week. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. If we do one before New Year's, we might jump in next week.
Hey, Tom, you know my address. Awesome, man. I would, when you send the Traeger, just, I would love you forever, buddy. You're my favorite person. All right, guys, have a great holiday season. So when are we going to get together again? You think after the first then?
Let's find out if we want to do one maybe next Wednesday or something before New Year's, or maybe it'll be in January. Let's touch base offline.
All right, we'll play it by ear.
Sounds good, guys.
Have a good day, Dan.
Take it easy.
See you guys.